So today we're talking about leads. So it's something, again, I see quite a lot. There are many different types of leads. Long ones, short ones, leather ones, thin ones, thick ones, ropey ones, ones that go around the nose, all that sort of thing. And I guess to a certain degree, it's a preference of what you prefer. With gun dogs especially, working dogs, the general rule or the general preference always tends to be a slip lead. A slip lead is a lead that tightens and loosens, and it makes it so that it's easy to get on and off the dog. Collars serve their purpose for, you know, everyday scenarios, whether your dog wears a collar or not. I mean, obviously they're supposed to. However, a dog working in the field, not particularly a good idea. And that's because the collar can get snagged on things. If you've got a spaniel, you'll know that they're always in the undergrowth. And if you've ever tried to rescue a spaniel out of a bramble bush that's been caught with a collar on, it's not something that you're ever going to do again. And likewise, if a Labrador's jumping over a 5-bar gate or some sort of obstacle and it gets its collar caught on something, you're going to be in a predicament. So collars, when you're out, you know, in the woods, undergrowth, that sort of thing, probably not the best idea. By all means, probably you'd be better to have one on the, you know, when your dog's out and about. In public, I think it's a requirement by law that they should have one, and I'm not saying that, you know, I'm not going to go against that. All I'm saying is that they serve a purpose in the right time and place. So going back to slip leads, I've got my Labrador here, just as a demonstration, to show you the differences between the different types of leads, particularly the slip leads, and what I tend to use. So we've got, this is a thinner one, which I'd probably use for a spaniel. It's a bit longer in length because obviously they're smaller, and you want to be able to sort of direct them and pull them back and that sort of thing from wherever they're going, a bit of encouragement, etc. So this is a slip lead. It's got a stopper on it to stop the slip going too far back, and also as well, that's a standard length one, so usually about 1.2 to 1.5 meters. Then I tend to prefer on a larger dog, medium larger dog, sort of Labrador, you know, HPRs, that sort of thing. A shorter length one always seems to work so much better. They're exactly the same. They come in many different sizes, shapes, some with handles, some without, some with stoppers, some without, some with a plastic stopper instead of a thing. But I do tend to prefer, it's a proper slip lead with a handle and a stopper, but just shorter in length, because you tend to find what happens is that you're walking your dog along, you've got your Labrador and you've got your 1.2 metre length lead, you've got it on the dog, and then it's either too far in front, it's not at heel, and then you're wrapping it round like this. You've paid 30 quid for your lead and 20 quid wrapped around your hand. Then your husband or your wife takes the dog out. How many times do they wrap it round? Well, I wrap it round 3 times. How many times do you wrap it round? And the dog might be in front of toes, behind toes, might be on a shorter lead if it's with him, or longer lead with her. And also as well, it tends to, if they start to pull, it'll come unravelled, and then that gives them that little bit more sniff and power, etc, etc. So I do tend to prefer the shorter ones, because it takes all that away. If you've got a shorter lead on your dog, and you're all walking your dog to the same length, this is probably not the best size one for this dog with a fat head, but just as for demonstration purposes. So you're all walking the dog at the same length. There's no wrapping it around your hand. You're all within a few inches. You're all in the same thing. The dog can't sniff when you're wanting to heel. You don't want your dog to sniff when you're heeling, because you want it to be focused on you. There's a time and a place for sniffing, and when you're heeling, that's not the time and the place. You want it to be heeling, you want it to be focused on you, not the pile of dog poo at the side of the path, or the passing dog or whatever. And a shorter slip lead just takes all that away. I have been known to use both, so a shorter slip lead, and then especially for a young dog when you want to, they want to go to the toilet, they want to wee, poo, whatever, and then you've always got the longer lead, so that you can extend that out a bit when they're going to have a wee and a poo, and then you just go back to using this one so that you're heeling again. They've got to be able to have that poo and wee, but obviously they're not old enough for them to be letting them off, because it's not safe or whatever. So it's always a good idea to have two on, and then you can always take one off, leave them both on, or vice versa. So that's a really good a good thing. So there's a right and wrong way to put on a slip lead, believe it or not, and that all comes down to whether you're right or left-handed. So when you get your dog, you're probably going to decide which side you walk it on. To some people, it's not something they consciously think about. Think, oh, I'm right-handed, I'll walk my dog on my right hand, or I'm left-handed, I'll walk my dog on my left hand, or depending on what side of the road I'm walking on. When you're deciding if it's a conscious decision that you're going to walk your dog on your right or your left, you need to take into consideration one thing. You need to, if you're going to be using your dog for shooting, then you would normally, if you're right-handed, you would have your gun over your right arm. So inevitably you want to be walking your dog on your left, and the reason for that is that if your dog's heeling and you teach it to heel on your right, you've got your gun over your right arm, you're going to be forever clonking your dog on the head with the barrel of the gun. So traditionally you would walk your dog on the left if you're right-handed, and that's the reason why we walk ours on the left when you're training a gun dog, because most people are right-handed and they would carry the gun on the right. Having said that, there's no right or wrong particularly, it's just, it makes it easier for that purpose. You could carry your gun on your left if you wanted to, but whatever, it doesn't make a difference. You just need to decide whether, you want to walk on the left or the right, and be consistent with that. Decide, I'm going to walk my dog on the right, I'm going to walk it on the right, and we're all going to walk it on the right. Am I going to walk it on the left or walk it on the left? Because when it comes later on down the line and you say heel, your dog's going to want to come to that side because you've taught it to come to that side. So whether there's two people walking it or not, make your decision, right or left. If you're walking your dog on the left, then you put the lead on a certain way, and I'll explain why. So if you're walking the dog on the left, the slip lead needs to be this way. Okay? So the length of the lead needs to come towards you, so that go over the dog's head like so, like that, and then it would come that way, like that. If you're walking the dog on the right, over to this side, then it's the opposite way. So it would the loop go over that way, like that, and then the length of the lead comes towards you like that. And the reason for that is that if you've got the lead on the right, you can see the lead, if it's pulling, it tightens up. When it slackens off, then the lead slackens off as well. Can you see that? If you've got the lead the other way, if you've got the wrong way, you're walking your dog on the right and you put your lead on the other way around, that doesn't happen. So the lead tightens up, but it stays tightened. Can you see? It just doesn't go slack because the loop of the lead goes downwards and stops it from slackening off. So the dog just thinks it's tight all the time. There's no let off, etc. So it's really important as well, before you set off and once you've decided which side you're walking your dog on, to think about your lead before you put it on. It is complicated to start, I'm not going to lie. It sounds simple, but when you come to do it and you've got your hands full of things and you're like, okay, which one? But it does become natural over time that you would automatically just know which way the lead does go on, and it does become more natural over time. So that's about it really in terms of the leads. These, like I say, these are the shorter healing ones which prefer. I do sell them on my website. These come in various different colours, combinations, lots of different, you know, glow in the dark ones for in the winter. If you're like me, lose one every day, lose other people's, win them out. So I've always got plenty of leads. And like I say, the healing ones are my favourite. Not for everybody. Some people prefer a different type of lead. I have a few people that like these ones, which is a figure of 8, which I'll just demonstrate for you. Not for me, but you know, maybe for other people. So the end part goes over the head like that, and then this bit goes over the snout like that. So when the dog pulls, it pulls the head. So it works like a bit like an alti really. You can also use that as just a half check as well. So it's like a slip lead, but without the full pull, you see. So it sort of half checks there as well. I've seen people use them like that. Additionally, I have also seen people use a standard slip lead as a halty as well, in the way that they wrap it on. So they put it over the head like that, and then this part, they twist it round into a figure of 8 and they pull that over the nose as well. So that acts the same, it pulls on the nose as well. I've seen lots of different ways of doing things, and it really depends on what works for you. Again, I think it depends on your approach to teaching your dog loose lead walking and healing. There are different ways that you can teach that, and obviously when they're a puppy and you're doing it with treats, may be very different to how you do that as they get older, when they get a bit more confident with things and you're out on the leads and there's lots of distractions. The way that you and the leads that you might use might change as well. So yeah, it's worth bearing in mind to make sure certainly that you've got your lead on the right way. Hope you found that interesting. Join us again on another video another time. Bye.